Hi, this is Jonathan Tiersten from The Perfect House and Sleepaway Camp, and you are listening to the Real Nerds Podcast.
Welcome to Real Nerds Podcast, unofficially the official podcast at Denver Comic Con 2014 and beyond. I am Ryan. With me this week is
Brad,
and only Brad. Fuck James.
Yeah,
he's in New Orleans, probably talking to Matthew McConaughey. Doesn't McConaughey live down there?
probably. But I've been wondering how to breach the subject, but I think he's quit the show.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Why?
I'm making up a joke.
I know.
Come on, play with me.
No, I said why. You have to
uh,
come up with something.
Because he hates us, and he thinks he can do it better than we can.
And he says he can grow a better beard than you.
Probably.
That's
He has a lot
fucked
of
up.
experience at it.
And he's down in New Orleans, probably.
Is that where he's
eating.
really at?
Yeah, he's at a conference for his job.
You have a lot of information about that.
Yeah, that's what I know. He's down.
Well, either
there
way,
for.
he's not here,
Yeah.
and he doesn't care about the show because he cares about his job more than us.
Yeah, I need to make a living. Fuck that guy.
Yeah, forget him.
Anyways, me and Brad are here. And me and Brad went and saw Draft Day this week. And every week we go see a new movie and we podcast our experience to the world. And we'll tell you all about Kevin Costner's new movie a couple weeks later.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We've been really behind on movies, like
But-
as far as picking them for the show. Like we haven't done a recent movie like on the week it's come out in about 3 or 4 weeks.
Well, because nothing's cool. I mean, that Brink Mansions looks okay, but it looks okay. And then what else came out this week? I don't even know.
I don't know.
The other woman. I think I'm going to pay to see Cameron Diaz and
Which
Leslie
we saw a
Mann.
trailer for.
Yeah, drink a Cosmo.
Yeah, probably not.
Fuck that. We're men. We need to see football.
That's right.
That's right.
Football
Football. Woo! We don't have any fan mail this week, Brad. Sorry.
again.
We do. We get a lot of fan mail. I just weed out the ones that don't mean anything. I only read the ones that from
That's
people
nice.
I like. Yeah, exactly.
That encourages people to write into the show.
But I do have an announcement, Brad. This Tuesday is the 10th anniversary screening of Invasion of the Twilights.
It is.
It is, isn't it? Aren't you showing it at Open Screen Night? Right?
I think I'm going to. Yes.
Oh, you still don't know yet.
Well, I don't know because I want to celebrate it, but I think it's just going to be me there, which doesn't really feel like a celebration. And then there's some like local film critics that are going to be there, and I already know it's bad. I don't need to have it.
Whoa.
It's not great. I mean, the
Local
people
film-
involved are great, but the actual final product isn't so great.
Local film critics, what are they doing? They're actually critiquing the stuff?
Well, one of them is Zach, so I'll twist his arm and make him like it, but
Zach Eastman's not a local film critic. He's a local filmmaker.
he's a filmmaker. But I mean, that night they'll be critics. They're judges. They're judging that night. That's what I'm saying.
So what are you going to show?
Well, probably Twilights, but I might do the first 3 months of my video project too. But I don't know. Are you gonna go?
I have to close that night.
Yeah, I should probably do it. I probably shouldn't do it because Adam's not gonna go. I don't think Natalie's aware.
I would go, but I have to open and close, I think, at my job because I pulled my assistant manager out because another area of this Mexican restaurant I work at did not have enough managers. So I have to work a lot until they put one in my store, which should be Wednesday, but he's coming from Baltimore. We'll see.
Okay, well, yeah.
But if I didn't have to, I would definitely be there
Well, thank you.
to see my horrible acting. Actually, it's not too bad. I was really camping it on purpose because that's what we were going for.
Yeah, well, you guys are great in it. It's just the final product and the script are kind of because it's a movie we made before I even went into film classes, and we just were fans of the show. That
I guess we should
based
say
on.
it's based on the Dick Van Dyke episode. It may look like a walnut,
Yeah.
which you
And-
should see.
And the idea behind it was to make an actual version of the movie that they're talking about, what they watched.
Because you never really see it.
Yeah, but we didn't even stick to that. Like, the characters aren't even the ones that they're... Like, Kolak's in it, but, like, Evelyn is actually the woman, but we changed it to Rob and Laura because...
It's an homage to the show.
Homage to the show, so... I don't know.
Well, we'll see.
And it's not shot great. It's not written very well.
except for one line
which wasn't written.
that wasn't written. So go see it at the Oriental Theater. It's at the Oriental this month, right?
Yep.
Cool. But just go see local filmmakers debut stuff. Is there anything that you know that's going to be good there?
Nope. I have no idea what else, because that's the idea behind open screen night is people don't pre-program. You just walk in with what you got.
And so if you're
You
like,
show it.
I have this movie I want to show, how much does it cost, Brad, to showcase your movie there?
Just $5.
$5, and it's on a big screen. It's really cool.
Yeah, it's like watching your movie in a movie theater, and you can win some prizes
Yeah.
if
I've won
the
prizes there.
judges enjoy it. Huh?
We've won prizes there.
Yeah. Realize
For-
Pod Show's won second place twice.
Yeah. So we're always pieces of shit.
Second place isn't pieces of shit.
It's because it's a number 2.
Oh,
It's a shit joke.
it's a shit joke of a shit joke.
Yeah, it's a shitty joke, literally. So yeah, we also talk about movie news. If you go to Open Screen Night, make sure you say hi to Brad. Brad's on the board there, and he'll be waving. We won second place, but just so you know, Brad doesn't judge the movies. He is completely washes his hands of that. In fact, the day that we co-hosted, Brad was not even involved in the co-hosting. So
That's right.
he has other things to do. So don't think it's rigged, guys. Don't think it's rigged.
Yeah, there's no preferential treatment.
No. So Brad doesn't even vote. He just sits in the back and makes sure it runs right. Which it always will, right, Brad?
That's right. Always be a good show.
But we just talk about things, movies. We also talk about a comic book you read. Do you have a comic book this week, Brad?
I don't.
I always ask you just in case. I mean, I obviously have one.
No,
But
just keep piling up.
Yeah.
Someday I'll get back into
yeah, you're
reading
busy
those
right now.
things. It's a shame too, because there's a lot of cool stuff going on in here
There is.
in comics world.
There is. So I'll have a comic book for you. Hint, spider senses are tingling. Yep. But yeah. Let's start the show with stuff that's coming out on Blu-ray next week.
DVD releases and Blu-rays.
Really nothing. The biggest release is Legend of Hercules, which came out, I think, in January, that nobody saw.
That's weird. I saw a trailer for Hercules.
Yeah.
And our movie tonight.
The other one that actually looks kind of cool. I think it'd be better if it's rated R, but I have a feeling it's going to be PG-13. Labor Day, which James really wanted to see, is the Kate Winslet, James Brolin movie.
He's
It
probably
is Josh Brolin, isn't it? His son? Which one's Josh? Yeah,
Josh Brolin. Yeah, he's probably watching it on pay-per-view in his hotel room. And
probably. After
Drones right now.
Mud.
Yeah.
All right.
It's the screening of Mud. Yeah, you guys go to dinner. I'm gonna go watch Mud in my hotel room again.
I was going to watch Mud this week, but, James wasn't going to be here, so I'm like, I can't watch it. I got to make sure I watch it, and I know that he's going to be here, so I can say it's not all right. And really the only other movie of note, I mean, they're releasing a lot of Godzilla movies on Blu-ray, but none of them, like, they have a Criterion Godzilla that looks awesome, but the ones that they're releasing are his subsequent sequels that no one cares about. It's like Godzilla versus Moth Person, or I don't think that's one of them, but
You're close. It's Mothra.
is it Mothra?
You're almost there.
But it's one of those like ones you don't care about. But the only other big one is one you saw from last year, but I never got around to seeing as Escape from Tomorrow,
Yeah.
which is the people who snuck onto Disney and filmed without their permission. Which is that you said it was a rental, right, Brad?
Yeah.
Or maybe not even see it all. I don't remember.
It's so weird and it's kind of boring. I don't know if it's really like worth, because you'd think that like the whole mystique of sneaking on there and like, well, they got in normally, but they snuck the footage, like recording and editing into a movie. But a good chunk of the movie is also just like these green screen sets that aren't, they just used background video and they're actually in a different place, so they're not really in the park.
So that's kind of a bummer too, because they sold it on, oh, look what we did, and that they really fit. I mean, from your description, it's like, oh, let's shoot this really fast and then get out of here.
Yeah, and then it's not like a traditional linear story. It's very much like a David Lynch, like what's going on here type of thing. So yeah,
Lame.
I don't know. It's not for everybody.
Maybe if they put it on Netflix, maybe I'll watch it,
Yeah.
which I'm sure they will, or Amazon Prime. I have both. Well, we'll see. So that's really all that's coming out. Nothing really cool. It's just like the movies released right now. It's just before summer, so there's really nothing like left for them to release because everyone's going to go to the movie theaters. So every once in a while, something noteworthy slips through. Cool. I wonder what was the number one movie last week? I want to say The Red, White, and Blue.
This is the box office stats.
It was Captain America at 25 million, 3 weeks in a row.
That's the second movie this year to
Yeah.
number one 3 weeks in a row.
Which is it's actually surprising people because everyone thinks it's a good movie, but the first Cap I think made 170 something. So this one's already over 200 million. So it's a better story and better made movie. So
But it's also had like weak competition.
yeah, and I mean they released it the right time.
Yeah.
Just like Thor improved on the original Thor because they released it in November, and they know there's going to be no other superhero movies. They know that the only thing they were competing with was the Hunger Games, but it didn't open for 3 weeks before then. So they said, you know what? Put this out, makes it $200 million. Smart marketing.
Yeah. They should have been doing this for years.
Yeah, because
It doesn't matter what time of year. People are going to go see a movie that they want to see.
You know, because this year at Christmas, I thought there was way too many movies out. And so they just spread them out because people will go see the movie if the movie's good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, people have definitely made it a point of that. Now that March has become kind of a big movie place as well.
Yeah, Christmas Day had, 6, 7 high-profile movies.
And how can you even see them
time.
all?
Yeah.
In second place was Heaven is for Real with $22 million. Sometimes you just never know.
People love Christianity.
They do. The movie we saw, not surprisingly, Transcendence, bombed at $10 million.
Not surprisingly.
Yeah, I don't think that movie was going to do well based on the trailers.
I thought it was going to do better than it did, but I didn't think it was going to beat Captain America.
Yeah, it cost $120 million to make too, which is the talent behind the camera and making it is there. Just the movie was meh.
Yeah.
Poor Johnny Depp. If he's not fucking weird in a movie, then it doesn't make any money. That's it. That's box office numbers.
Cool.
And you know what? Fuck it. We're gonna do comic books now.
What's up, nerds? It's the Comics Corner.
So the final issue of Superior Spider-Man came out, much to the delight of Spider-Man fans everywhere. It's so funny now that it ended. A lot of people are going, I'm really going to miss Superior Spider-Man. And of course, when Superior Spider-Man came out, I can't believe they did this to Peter Parker. People are such douches.
As if they didn't expect Amazing Spider-Man to ever come back.
Exactly. But which is amazing about it, though, is, I mean, the Amazing Spider-Man is now up to number one, is up to 700,000 copies pre-ordered. That's amazing for a comic book nowadays. So in a way, it worked out really well for Marvel. The stories for Superior were either hit or miss. I really liked the intrigue of the B stories. I didn't like the A story of Spider-Man being a villain at all, or thinking like one. Anyways, and this one wraps up the Green Goblin's arc in Goblin Nation. It's part 5. Spoilers for the last issue 30. Peter Parker came back because Otto Octavius realized he's never going to be as good as Spider-Man, and that he doesn't have what it takes to save people from the Green Goblin. There was a big mystery of who the Green Goblin was. There was a lot of suspects. Harry Osborn is back, but he disappeared for a while. His wife, ex-wife, is in charge of Oscorp right now, and she was seen in about 5 issues ago with a goblin mask in her hand. Norman Osborn has been missing for over a year. So it was really cool. When Pete comes back, he realizes that he's been a jerk. And so the first half of the issue is him trying to figure out what Octavius has done while he's been gone. And then he realizes that the Green Goblin's back and he's attacking everybody. Obviously, that's important to Otto Octavius because the Green Goblin has figured out that Octavius is Spider-Man. So he kidnaps his girlfriend and is going to hurt Mary Jane, all the usual stuff. But Spider-Man, in the meantime, figures out that there's a way to reverse the Goblin formula. And so he cures one of the Goblin's henchmen to not be a Green Goblin anymore and sets out to find the Green Goblin. And he finds him, and it's actually a really cool moment in the issue because the Goblin still believes Octavius is Spider-Man. And I forget what the Goblin says to Spider-Man, and Spider-Man comes back. He says, well, it's better than flying around with a man purse. And the art is so brilliant. The Green Goblin stops smiling, and his eyes get really big, and it just really small says, it's you. He realizes that little joke that Peter Parker's back, and Peter Parker kicks his ass and pulls off his mask, and it's the president of the rival chemical company for Oscorp, but it's actually Norman Osborn who genetically changed his face and stuff so people wouldn't know who he was. Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, that's a little underwhelming. I was really hoping it'd be like Harry's ex-wife or his ex-wife or Harry Osborn. But then it's Norman Osborn and he just changed the way he looked. And he's actually grew a mustache. So I'm like, really? A mustachioed villain? Whatever.
Yes.
Yeah, he fell for my plan. So Pete actually injects Norman with the cure, so he's no longer has a super strength and the Goblin formula, but it also cures Norman Osborn of his insanity. So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, right.
I'm sure he's going to figure out a way, like a super soldier formula, and I'm sure he'll be back. I mean, like the last shot is him. I'll find a way to come back.
So this whole time, like, Peter's been like in the back of Octavius's subconscious.
Yeah, he's
hanging out.
Yeah, well, he's been around. I called it the ghost of Peter Parker, but he's actually been like in his subconscious, trying to fight his way out. For a long time, he was fighting. His memories and Octavius's memories were blending, and he couldn't find a way out. And then when Anna Maria, who's Otto's girlfriend, gets kidnapped, and he realizes that only Pete can save him, Otto goes in and just wipes himself out of existence. And I know, it's lame. It's Freaky Friday.
So he does wipe out Peter completely?
No, he wipes out himself
Oh.
from existence. We'll see. I'm just happy to have Peter Parker back. Because that's the one thing that's been missing in Spider-Man is it's not, like, Spider-Man's not fun. So it's, like, you're reading a book about a guy who wants to redeem himself, but has no redeemable qualities. But the story, the loose ends were tied up kind of cool. And then there's a great little ending about Mary Jane going away. And can't wait for Amazing Spider-Man comes out next week in comic book form and in movie form. And that's
called Synergy.
Yes.
Company.
That was not planned at all.
Yep.
Cool. Yeah, that's a comic. Pick it up. You might be able to pick it up. I know it's a really popular issue. I know that Superior 30, they didn't say Peter Parker was coming back in that issue, and it sold out like in a day. So I'm sure you might be able to find it. I'm sure they'll release a second printing of it.
Yeah.
Or you can probably digitally download it. It's fun. Glad to have Pete back. Hey, this is the stuff we watched this week. I actually didn't watch hardly anything. The Spectacular Spider-Man cartoon came out on Blu-ray, so I watched the first season of that. And the show is really fun.
It says the complete series.
It is a complete series, finally, on Blu-ray, and it looks great. I mean, the thing with animation on Blu-ray is it's just so clean, and it's in widescreen, and they made it fit on widescreen TV, so the action fills up the screen.
So you had the DVDs of that before, and they're all full frame?
Yep. And they're all, the first season came out as one set, and then the season 2 was in volumes. So they had like 3 episodes on each disc.
Ugh.
Yeah. And so they finally released it, and they actually gave it a kind of a cool little slip cover. It's like a hologram and like in 3D, so good for them. It's a cool show. If you're a fan of Spider-Man, it's a bummer they don't make that show anymore. They had lots of fun with it. Spider-Man's cool in it. They take what you know about Spidey and they kind of add their own little twist to it. Like Harry Osborn actually is the Green Goblin in that one, and he abuses the drugs that his dad has made, and so he's kind of crazy. It's kind of an interesting take on the Green Goblin. Tombstone, who's a really cool villain in Spider-Man that a lot of people might not know, he's actually the evil guy in it, and he's this huge crime boss. So that's really cool. The action scenes are really fun. They're really well done. It's a good show. You should check it out if you haven't. And the only other thing I actually watched, I went and saw Oculus, which is the new horror movie about a cursed mirror. And when I saw the trailers for it, I really wasn't that excited about seeing the movie. But after I started reading reviews of it, I think it's like at 80% on Rotten Tomatoes. I said, no, you know what? If the critics like it, and but here's the thing: the critics have it like at 80%. The raters, like me and you on Rotten Tomatoes, have it at 50%. So it has like The Shining written all over it. So, I was like, whatever. I had a free movie ticket. I'm not doing anything else. And so I went there, and I was the only one in the theater. So it cost them money for me to watch that movie. It's great. That's
Really?
happened to me
You're the
like,
only-
yeah,
Oh, man.
at $4.50 yesterday. I was the only one there. And then it's funny, the lady, I said, she said, "What do you see?" And I said, "Oculus." She's like, "Oh, that's a horrible name for a movie." I said, "Yeah, a little bit."
It's like better for sci-fi. I think.
Yeah, and two, you're asking a lot for people to understand what that means. But I don't know what else you'd call a scary mirror. I don't know what else you'd call the movie.
Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
Yeah, exactly. Or there is a horror movie called Mirrors, starring Kiefer Sutherland.
That's true.
So in this one, it's again the mirror is cursed with something. They never really explain it, but it's an interesting movie. It takes place in the past and in the present, where this kid is in psychiatric care because he shot his dad, and he murdered his dad after his dad murdered his mom, and it's all tied to this.
What did he do it with?
A gun.
Well, yeah. So he got the gun from his
Yeah, it's. I have to really explain it. So, the son goes to a psychiatric ward because he shot his dad, and he blamed the mirror for killing his dad, and everyone's like, "That's crazy. Why would a mirror make you kill somebody?" His sister, in the meantime, became engaged to this auctioneer guy, kind of like Sotheby's, like that big auction house. And so they locate this mirror, and she sets up an experiment in their old house with this mirror to show that it's supernatural, that it basically kills everything that's around it, like plants, and it kills the dog and things like that. So she sets up cameras and ways to trick the mirror, and it's really interesting. It starts a little slow, but when it starts going back and forth between present day and what happened to the family, it's kind of interesting because they actually mold and move the scenes at playing at the same time. So as like the older kids are walking down the stairs, the younger kids are walking up, and it shows you like flashbacks that way. Katie Sackhoff is in it. She's probably the biggest name in it. She plays the mom, and it's an interesting movie. The mirror makes people slowly deteriorate, and it gets in with the dad, and the dad starts doing weird things, and yeah, I don't know. I mean, I kind of like the movie, but it takes a long time for it to get going. But what it does really well is really effective is playing with, is this reality or is this not reality? What are you seeing as real? What are you not seeing as real? Because when you look in a mirror, obviously you're seeing a reflection. So a lot of times they'll be looking at something and it's looking back at them, and so you're not sure what exactly is really happening in the movie. I don't really want to spoil the ending, but the kids there's some interesting parts where the mirror makes everybody think something's happening, but it's not. So there's a part where the kids are arguing, and then they leave the room, and then when they come back, something supernatural has happened. I think all the plants died or something, and then they watch the footage of the other camera, and the footage shows the kids like pointing the cameras at each other and rearranging the room, even though you saw them not do it. So the mirror has a way of tricking the perception of reality. I don't know.
Sounds confusing.
It is. You have to really watch it. There's so much going on in it. I mean, probably the creepiest scene was kind of at the beginning, where you get an idea of what kind of movie you're in for. That girl is trying to get this mirror to her old house, and she's in like the auction house's back warehouse, and she's looking in the mirror, and in the background there's 3 mannequins, and then she turns her head and there's only 2, and then you look in the mirror and there's 3, and they all like turn their heads. So it's a perception on reality. It reminded me a lot of, and in my mind, every time something was happening, I was thinking of John Carpenter's In the Mouth of Madness, where Sam Neill goes, "This is not reality." That's all I could think of the whole time. But yeah, you should check it out. It's definitely, I say rent it. It's not a movie you have to rush out to see in theaters, because it doesn't really rely on jump scares, or it's not really gory. Just if you're bored one night, check it out. That's all I watched.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I watched a bunch of stuff.
Cool.
I think the first I'll do is Fateful Findings. It was a midnight movie I saw last week at the Esquire.
What's that about again? I just saw a trailer for that.
What is it about?
What did I
It's
say?
about a writer who is writing his next book. Well, he's telling everyone he's writing his next book, but he's actually writing a book about the government secrets he's uncovered.
Who's in that movie?
Nobody you know.
Oh, no, that's right. I watched a trailer
There's
before you
no-
left.
That's right.
That's right. That's why I'm like, where the fuck is that name sound familiar?
There's no named people in it. It's in the vein of The Room, where it's hilariously bad.
Yeah, because you were showing me the trailer.
Yeah.
And you actually made it to the movie. Did you fall asleep?
No,
No.
it was so funny. I stayed awake. Yeah. Yeah. I don't even know where to begin. Like,
Well, the dialogue in the trailer, where you there is huge government conspiracies.
that's the end of the movie.
Is it really?
Most of the movie is so it starts off. I almost have to like narrate the movie to describe what's going on. So in the trailer, there's that field, right, that the two kids are like skipping away down towards, and there's like that photoshopped cloud that mist like streaks over the image.
Hey, we should say, maybe as you describe it, tell people to go to IMDb and watch the trailer.
Yeah, YouTube Fateful Findings. They have a website, but unfortunately, like it's not available on home video or disc
because no one wants to release it.
Yeah, like I wanted to show it to everyone else just to show them how ridiculous this is, but I can't get a copy of it. But the trailer is online. So anyway, there's these two kids and they're skipping into the forest and they go to this tree, and then under the tree there's this big like portobello mushroom, and then it just like dissolves away, and there's a music box.
Nice.
They open up and there's a rock inside, and the kid keeps the rock, and then they put something else in the box and then bury it again. And then I think the next scene was it's into the future, I guess, and he's all grown up, and then he is like waiting at a stoplight to cross the street, and then it breaks for him. He crosses the street, and then he gets hit by a Rolls Royce.
Nice.
In hilarious like green screen fashion where
I
he's
did.
composited.
That's in the trailer.
Yeah.
That's in the trailer.
And he goes to the hospital, and his wife shows up there, and the doctor. Oh, what was the thing with the doctor? I don't remember, but one of the other like nursing assistants is actually, I guess at some point, he and the girl he was with in the forest like drifted apart. Oh, that's right, she moved away. So that was before present day. They did a little flashback of that, of her moving away, and so they haven't kept in touch. But apparently she's become this nurse at the same hospital, and then I think the same day he goes home, even though he's had like Harvey Dent style scar.
He said a line in the trailer, and it's like he has this bandage, and there's like a blood stain where his eyeball should be.
Yeah, like 2/3 of his face are covered in this like huge Elephant Man style bandage. And then so he goes home after that, and he has this wife that he's having like problems with.
Isn't there? There's like a weird shower scene in the trailer.
Yeah, he goes home. They have a shower scene where like there's no actual nudity in the movie, but there's all tons of side boob and stuff. Like whenever there's a sex scene, like the girl's always like chest down on the bed. And then that scene you see his ass, but it's just terrible acting and terrible editing. Like you just have to see how awkward the movie is.
Yeah, when you told me about it and I watched a trailer, and he's like, "Oh, wait till you see him in front of City Hall." It's like the worst green screen I've ever seen.
And apparently you have a visitor.
I do have a visitor.
Pause, I guess. Yeah, the whole government thing is like pretty much the end of the movie, like the last 2 or 3 minutes.
I don't understand where the conspiracy of everything comes from.
There's no conspiracy. The whole movie is, like what they don't really show in the trailer is, I think they have neighbors. There's these two neighbors that are like the husband isn't satisfying the wife, and then they have a daughter. So they're fighting, right? But then it's like they have like the rest of the movie is them like hanging out together, the two couples, and there's like a barbecue, and then arbitrarily the nurse from the hospital, that's his long lost friend, with no invitation at all, just shows up to the party with like her fiance, and then at the barbecue, the main character realizes that, oh my god, this is the girl from my past, and conveniently later his own wife overdoses. Like she's a big pill addict, so she overdoses, and like conveniently he's able to get, or his long lost friend just the next time he sees her, like, oh yeah, they're jogging through the park, right?
Mm-hmm.
Didn't plan on being there, and she's like, oh yeah, I dumped my fiance for no reason, and then they get together, and then
So what was the fateful find?
I don't.
They found each other.
They found each other. Yeah.
It was fate that my wife died of an overdose.
Yeah, like everything works out for me. Hooray. And then the most hilarious part is at the end where the funny part is when he's writing, he's just like, they have copies of his books that he's written in the past, but for the purpose of the movie and their budget, they just got like those old, like, attorney volumes, like, of the law that have like no specific they're just like the cloth cup, like black and red spine or whatever, and so he's in his office like signing those, like, I have to autograph these books or autograph my books for my fans, and it's like they don't have his picture or the
There's
title.
no like
It's
slipcover or anything.
It's like he went to the library and just pulled a bunch of reference books. And so he's writing them, and then later on he's looking through those books for the government secrets, like the same books are supposed to be the other reference materials. And he has like 4 laptops on his desk, and he's always interacting with just one of them.
Doesn't he like slam it a couple times too?
Yeah, but you can tell it's never on. He's just like tap 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 tap, like he's never used a computer before. He's just like, I'm doing work. Click 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 click.
So it's not as convincing as my Turn and Pod Show episode 1.
No, not at all. You never see the front of the. Yeah, it's like he got some late 80s, early 90s laptops from Goodwill, and they just set them on the desk.
Because he
They
needs
don't
4
work.
of them to write his book.
Yeah, exactly. And there's like one part where his wife comes in and like complains about something, and he like flips out, and he no, she doesn't complain. She like starts to romance him, and so they're like having this makeout scene, and it's this wide shot, and you don't really see their heads, but he's just like reaching on the desk and just like kind of knocking everything off, or her like. And then there's like a close up of his face, and then you could just see like his arm reaching over and like picking up his piece of paper and then just like throwing it, just like all over the place. Like they're just playing around, like this, like they're not even in a movie anymore. They're just like it's almost like an outtake. You're watching an outtake from the movie. But the funny part is the end where he finally goes to City Hall and starts talking about the government secrets, which he never specifies any secrets. He just says, "I've exposed the secrets," and there's like individuals who represent the government who each do a testimonial about like, I've been discovered and I'm sorry that I did this to the public. And then like one guy just reaches up with a gun and then shoots himself in the head. And
In his testimonial?
yeah, in the middle of his testimonial, there's one guy who's like, I am the manager of the bank and I am sorry that I of the bank. And I'm sorry, and then like, I think one of them just hangs himself.
Didn't even have enough creativity to make up some bank name, like America's Bank.
Yeah, America's Bank. Yeah, Bank of America. I guess he can't do that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just goofy and just hilarious. Like everyone
Nice.
in the theater was doing the MST3K thing, even myself. Like
Nice.
so, at one point, because it was just yeah. And that was way too much about to talk about Fateful Findings. Because I have 5 others to go through. Most recently, I watched a movie called Computer Chess, which I thought was like maybe I knew it wasn't a real documentary, but it looked like the style of like a mockumentary of people who compete in chess, but using a computer to do it. So like they'll see the person's move, but they'll input it in the computer, and the computer will make the next move for them. And it's highly rated, but I was kind of bored. In fact, I was really bored watching it.
Never even heard of it.
It's cool that it's like shot on like VHS looking, so it's not widescreen or anything. It's standard frame, but it's also the resolution of the movie. It feels like you're watching to their credit, it feels like you're watching something from like late 70s, early 80s. Like all the production's designed good, but the characters and the story are just not that interesting. Like it's basically a bunch of nerds, and the whole premise is they're having this convention at a hotel where they're gonna, like, all these computers from all these different tech colleges are competing together to show which one has the best program, the one that's most like a human being, and then that program that wins is going to play against the highly rated chess guy, like actual person. So, but along the way, it's just like there's one guy who's like the avant-garde programmer who's there to kind of stir things up, But most of the movie, he's just kind of like walking around the hotel at night between rooms. Like he doesn't get a room, so he's like knocking on doors. And there's these just like whole long conversations with all these computer programmers, like discussing like their theories on computer programming. Then the MIT computer fails right away, so they have to call in the guy from the college.
Doesn't sound that interesting.
He shows up with his family, and like he's explaining to the one guy, like, "Oh, this is why it failed, but I got to go back to, I don't know."
Doesn't sound that interesting.
And by the end, like weird stuff. Like for some reason, there's all these cats that are like
just film at my house, or
yeah, it looked like your house. So the one guy who's trying to get a room, like he finally gets a room, and he opens up, and there's like just a bunch of cats in it. And then he has to go sleep in this conference room where simultaneously there's this another convention for like couples therapy. So they're having like weird like yoga looking like couples, like they have like exercises together, like where they hold hands or something. And then later on, the guy who runs that invites one of the nerds up to his room and tries to initiate like a threesome with him. And then predictably, the winning computer guy competes against the national champion, and that guy gets frustrated when the computer's actually beating him. And then the one nerd guy who's been from the MIT, he gets a prostitute at the end of the movie, and that's where it ends.
Which makes sense.
I was like, what is the point of this? So, I don't know. And then another movie I watched was it's called Only the Strong, and it's like this early 90s capoeira movie starring Mark Dacascos, who you might remember from, I think he hosted Iron Chef, but I know him mostly from Double Dragon.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm pretty sure I've seen this trailer.
It's about this former serviceman who, I guess he got discharged honorably or dishonorably. Didn't quite catch that, but he goes back home to the high school that he used to go to, and he's just visiting a teacher there when all of a sudden a fight breaks out between the students who are like selling drugs on campus. And then
naturally,
and so there's this teachers meeting, and he proposes, I want to teach a class for all your worst students. I want to teach them a capoeira class.
I'm pretty sure I've seen a trailer for this. Where did you see it at?
Well, I was referred to it because in the production for Jean-Claude Van Damme's Dan Van, our movie, I think Adam sent me a picture of the villain from the movie, who he modeled. He has a ponytail, and like the big shirt and pleated pants thing. Sent me a picture that I photoshopped Cougar Littlefield's face on for the character design. But there's like, so when I saw it pop up on Netflix, I'm like, oh, I should watch this movie, see what like that whole thing is about. So that's where I got it from. What were you asking?
I was just seeing. I think I've seen a trailer for it.
Yeah. So he starts the class. Obviously, right away, the kids don't take to it. But he managed to like convince like one kid that it's cool, and then eventually all the others follow suit, obviously. But there's a one kid who's his brother is like the Miami gang, head of the Miami gangs.
What's the name of the Miami game? What was the one in basketball? What was their name?
Oh, I don't remember.
Whatever.
Nothing as controversial as the San Francisco
like
Fairies.
His Miami dealers or something.
They're probably the dealers, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's actually what it was. So anyway, but he's also coincidentally also a capoeira master. So when this teacher tries to go get this one kid who doesn't want to be a part of the group, like when he goes to convince him to show up, his brother shows up and kicks his ass, the teacher's ass, and then basically the whole rest of the movie is like this potential gang war. Eventually, the gang leader tries to burn down the school, ends up killing one of the kids that's in the group accidentally.
The gang member accidentally killed him?
Yeah, in the fire that he set to the school. wasn't planning. He was trying to kill the teacher friend of his.
So the kid's collateral damage.
The kids. The funny part of that scene is like, so you think that this the teacher that the main character was friends with, like he's unconscious and about to die of asphyxiations, and then you think like that guy's going to die and be the catalyst for our main character to go after him. But when he survives, because the two kids pull him out of the room, you're like, oh, well, crisis averted. Not too bad for a PG. I think it's a PG movie. Not too dramatic, but okay. It's still enough to make him want revenge, right? But then the kid goes back in the room to rescue the musical instrument that's like really important to the capoeira style, and then that kid fucking dies.
He's fucking dead.
Yeah, like ouch. Like you could have like gotten us with the other teacher, but wow, went really hardcore killing the kid too. So that was like storytelling wise, I'm like, wow, that's excessive. So yeah, and then obviously our main character flips out and tries to take on all his gangs in Miami, and he gets saved by his classmate or his kids, his students, and yeah. So that was kind of it was kind of enjoyable because
Is it one of those like enjoyable '90s movies where you're like it's goofy and it's kind of fun?
It's stupid, but it's just kind of a feel good thing where
Yeah.
like, yeah, he took these
He did take
10
on those
worst
drug
kids in
dealers,
school
yeah.
and turned them around and gave them something to shoot for. They don't have to be drug dealers like their brothers. They can be capoeira masters. Yeah. And then I watched a Simon Pegg movie called A Fantastic Fear of Everything.
Oh yeah, I've heard about that.
Have you heard about that? It looks great, and it's like very visually stunning, but the story is not anything like the trailer made it seem.
Yeah, I heard
to me.
that.
Yeah.
I read a review of it somewhere, and it said the same thing.
You think like he's going to be haunted by the supernatural or be like afraid of everything, but it turns out he's only afraid of laundromats. So, like, there's two things going on. Simon Pegg's character is a writer, and he's been successful with a children's book, but he's trying to write this thing about murderers, like famous murderers in London. Like I don't think it was like documentary style of it, or I don't think it was biographical. I think it was more like he's adapting these stories into his own thing. But all that research has made him be very suspicious of everything around him. But then the movie just kind of devolves into like him trying to figure out why he's so afraid of everything based on some childhood trauma involving the laundromat. And yeah, and there's like one real killer currently going around town. But like eventually finds him and it's involved with the laundromat. It's very like underwhelming. Yeah. Trying to remember. And then like he has this aversion, like his agent wants him to create another children's book based on this hedgehog. And then he doesn't want to do that. And then eventually that's like the end of the movie. He ends up convincing, I don't think anyone's ever going to see it, so I'll just spoil it. He uses this story he makes up about the hedgehog that he should be writing about to convince the killer that's captured him to not kill him. And the story is basically something about like two hedgehog brothers who, I guess the allegory is him and the killer are alike because they have this fear, like they're both abandoned at the laundromat. It's, yeah.
Bummer.
As everyone listening probably knows, I'm terrible at explaining things, but so it's probably making it sound worse than it is, but I don't know.
It doesn't sound good.
Yeah. And then the last thing I saw, which actually surprisingly, like I didn't think I would enjoy as much as I did, but I watched Coneheads again.
Yeah.
The first thing that caught my attention was it's directed by Steve Barron, who directed the Ninja Turtles movie.
Is it really?
So I was like, oh, this should be interesting. And then, like right away, the most interesting I noticed right away is the style of the like. It's a Saturday Night Live movie, so there's like a certain style that all those movies have, except for like this one. Like I haven't seen the movie since the 90s. I'm getting.
One thing I remember is Chris Farley's in it as like the prom date.
Yeah. Well, in the first 5 or 6 minutes, there's like cameos from like tons of SNL people. And then just like people who are like, oh my God, what happened to that guy? They used to be super famous. But in the first 5 or 10 minutes, like the Coneheads, I forget the race. Do they have a name?
You're asking.
I remember the character names, but I don't remember. Like, so the Coneheads, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's like this stop motion animation style to everything they do, like their movements and everything. That's like really fascinating. For like 1993, post Ninja Turtles. It just looks like Dan Aykroyd and Jane Curtin are stop motion animated. It's so bizarre, but also like intriguing at the same time. You have to see it to like.
Yeah, I haven't seen it since I think I saw it on video because we rented it from. There used to be an old video store by Golden High School, and my mom would take us there on like Friday nights, and we pick it. And I know I picked Coneheads one night, and I just remember Chris Farley going cheese, and like his hair blew up or something. That's all I remember.
It's just it's really interesting like what they do. Like the Coneheads are so like they're such.
I just remember being obnoxious.
They're obnoxious, but they're like there's early on when the story arc in general is kind of like wow, they actually like wrote a solid movie to me. But there's like really disturbing things like when he goes to Beldar goes to the dentist to get his teeth fixed, and John Lovitz is the dentist, and he has him open his mouth, and like he has 3 layers of teeth, and like has this weird like Beetlejuice style like prosthetic, like it's so bizarre. And like early on,
I don't even want to go in there. That's my John Lovitz.
It's terrible. Early on, when they first arrive at Earth, like they have to get this motel room, and then Michael Richards is the like the motel desk clerk or whatever, and like Beldar's eating toilet paper from off the roll, and he has like this long stream. So it's like I think it's reverse stop motion to go into it. And then Jason Alexander is their neighbor. And the weird thing about the whole thing is like no one really questions like their cone heads. Like they just the cone heads just explain that they're from France. Is that anything coming back to you?
Nope.
Nope.
Not a single thing.
Yeah. So anyway, Beldar gets a job working for Sinbad at this like electronics repair shop. And
Sinbad in a windbreaker?
Yes.
Nice.
The whole tracksuit look.
Love it.
David Spade is the assistant to Michael McKean, who are like immigration officials. And so they're Adam Sandler is like this guy who gets illegal documents for people, like gets different identities for them. And then he's basically recycled some name a bunch of times. And so Beldar gets this name, and then it triggers immigration. Like, I think it's DiCiccio or something. He's shown up 10 times as like different identities. We should go track him down. So like for the next 20 years, immigration is like tracking down the Coneheads, and meanwhile Beldar just keeps getting his way out of it, and like they start a family and like raising them. And then it's actually like a nice story of how they become like Remulac is their home planet, and they've been waiting for like a rescue team to come, but they said like, oh, it's going to take 20 years so you have to adjust. So they have a kid, and then basically like when they finally get a chance to go home, like they go home and they find out like based on some technicality that they're going to kill Beldar. So he orchestrates like they have to fight like a Rancor basically.
Nice.
And then
I don't remember any of this.
He wins, and then he's like, okay, to their leader, like as reparations, I'm going to enslave humanity for you. So they basically get the whole army to fly to, which it took 20 years to get a rescue party to Earth, but in like a day they're going to go back to Earth to enslave humanity.
The coordinates. They finally figured out the coordinates.
Yeah. And then he basically tricks his own race into thinking that they died, killing like like the humans have this technology that's is better than theirs, so they flee, and then they basically adopt Earth as their new home.
I don't remember any of this.
Remember that? Yeah, I'm not explaining things great today.
No, it's not. I think you're explaining. You're telling me things. I'm like, I think I remember how that happened in that movie, but I don't remember the beats of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I didn't remember any of it before I watched it, I was like, oh my god, like there's this again and this again. Like there's all these people. Phil Hartman is like one of the Remulac assistant guys. Yeah, like anyone from like the early '90s SNL is in that movie, and then people from Seinfeld are in it. Yeah, just a big cameo fest. Yeah, Chris Farley, he's initially like this douchebag mechanic who's trying to get with his daughter, but then he's like turned around. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember Farley being in it like the most of.
Yeah, he's a pretty major character.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then David Spade ends up getting exiled to.
Of course, because he's probably like a smart ass. I can't even remember.
He's the yes man.
Yeah.
And so he becomes the yes man for the Remulac leader too. Yeah. I thought it was fun.
Yeah, I'll have to watch it again.
People hate on SNL movies, but I think that's the first one, right?
I don't know.
Like, no, obviously Ghostbusters. Yeah. I guess was the Blues Brothers like a skit before it became a movie?
I don't think so. But I mean, it has a lot of the same guys in it. You know,
Yeah.
the early '80s SNL.
Yeah. And lastly, I started watching Mad Men season 6. It's been out for a year, but it's finally on Netflix for free, and I got sucked into that because it's more about the ad campaigns again, which I like. I think last season was more about just the characters and their relationships with each other, but I like the show more for like how are we going to solve this or how are we going to get this business and whatnot. So
Yay, Mad Men.
I know you don't like it. That's why I'm not going to go any further. There's not much else. I'm only 4 episodes in, so but I think it's fascinating when they're talking about like clients and how to convince them that how to sell their product.
We're going to scour the internet, Brad, and pull up some real news.
It's real news.
Some cool news from the people we met at Telluride Horror Show this last year, 2013. Delivery, the movie that made its world premiere there, is getting a U.S. release.
Good for them.
Yeah, and they're changing the name.
What?
It's actually called Delivery, The Beast Within.
Why?
I'm sure it has something to do with the people who decided to distribute it. But the new poster's actually kind of cool. It has like a pregnant belly and it has like a monster hand around it. And it makes sense if you've seen the movie.
I really want to know how they feel about Devil's Due that came out earlier this year.
You know, I do want to see that one, but I think that their movie was so effective that
I don't want to see it. I just want to know their feelings on it because I can't say. It feels like it would probably like we like theirs so much. I can't imagine us liking Devil's Due, but we haven't seen it, so whatever.
It comes out. It actually was one of the Blu-ray releases this week. I just skipped it.
But it looks so similar to them. Like, how do you feel about like that Hollywood movie beating you to the punch? You know,
and you know that their movie came out so much longer before because they went to Telluride, and then they've been going all over the world premiering the movie. I know it's already been released on Blu-ray in Australia and the UK, and so good for them. I think sometimes they change the name just because for American audiences, because delivery, whatever.
Well, it's an American movie to begin with.
Yeah, I know, but then I'm sure they tested something and part of the distribution deal, which I understand. I mean, I will still always call it Delivery. It's just a subtitle, so hopefully it'll be.
There'll be sequels.
Yeah, and I think they could make sequels on it. Their premise is interesting enough. Also, speaking of new names, The Hobbit, there and back again, changed its name officially to The Battle of the Five Armies. Whatever. I like There and Back Again, but The Battle of the Five Armies has a little more to do with the plot because I know that it's going to be huge battles at the end, and that should be interesting.
It's one of the situations where you could just named it The Hobbit 1, 2, and 3, and people still would have come out. So I don't know why they're so hung up on the name.
Yeah, I read because Peter Jackson posts pretty cool things on his Facebook page. He posts lots of video diaries and stuff. But I guess they're the Desolation of Smaug.
Which they made up. Yeah.
Is going to be the extended cut's like another 19 minutes. So they just got done scoring all original music for it. So there you go. So remember, guys, when the Hobbits or the Lord of the Rings come out, wait. Any Peter Jackson movie lately, just wait. Like 3 more months, and you'll get like the deluxe edition of stuff.
Yeah, and I guess one of the ideas is they'll probably save the There and Back Again as a name to call the box set of the whole Hobbit trilogy. So
and actually,
it's coming.
And reading Peter Jackson's reasoning behind it, he said it made more sense when it was just 2 movies because, the second movie, they'd go there and then he'd come back home. So it's fine. I don't care. I just thought it was interesting that they were reporting it and then all of a sudden it just happened.
They should just focus on making the movies more interesting. Not the title.
Steven Spielberg is going to be directing Roald Dahl's The BFG, which is one of my favorite Roald Dahl books.
What's the BFG?
The Big Friendly Giant. It's a really cute book about how a boy befriends a giant and their friendship that bonds through it. It's a really cute book. It's one of my favorite Roald Dahl books. That and The Witches are my favorite books by him. And when I was a kid, I loved Roald Dahl. I used to get his books all the time at the library. So cool. I love seeing Spielberg every once in a while do children's movies because The Adventures of Tintin was really good. And
where's the second half of that?
as soon as Jackson's done with The Hobbit, it's his turn to do it. So good for Spielberg. I also read that Miss Doubtfire is the most aired show on cable or movie on cable this year, 66 times on 5 separate networks. Batman versus Superman adds Cyborg into the mix. Ray Fisher, which is now it just sounds like a Justice League movie.
Yeah.
But they're not selling it as Justice League. This is Batman versus Superman.
I wonder if they're thinking that if they wait long enough, that people forget that they're competing against like the Avengers.
No,
sense?
Captain America 3. Yeah. Oh yeah.
But like the whole, like they want to do the Marvel. What's the word? Am I trying?
Expanded universe.
No, the Marvel strategy.
Mm-hmm.
They want to basically copy it, but they don't want people to label it as, "Hey, we're copying it." So I wonder if they're thinking like, "Oh, well, we'll just roll out these little things that eventually build to the same thing, and if we roll them out separately without making a big fuss about it, then people won't make the comparison." But we're doing it anyway, so
they have their work cut out. No, I mean I want to see the movie, and I think it can be cool if they just focus on Superman and Batman. Because now, what you're doing is a lot of times now you're bloating the movie. I mean, Cyborg, what's he going to have to do with the movie? You already have like 3 villains in it, and now you have Wonder Woman, Batman, Superman, Cyborg,
Lex Luthor. I hear maybe Metallo.
Mm-hmm. We'll see.
It's gonna be.
I'm going to see it. I'm not going to say I'm not going to see it, and I'm not going to judge it till I
yeah.
see it. But it just seems. Why don't they just call it Justice League? I don't know.
They probably are. It doesn't officially have a name yet, so
That's true too.
And very well, that may be the name for it. But
I still think The World's Finest might be the coolest name for
I'm
it.
just worried with all these unestablished characters, like because Marvel they established it's like third and second tier characters before they did a team up movie. So
Yeah, but the
I don't know
Avengers
about Cyborg.
success is, I mean, it's because the Iron Man movies work so well. And then, I mean, you have Iron Man, and then you can just trickle down. When you have $200 or $170 million movies with Thor and Captain America, you have that built-in audience. Where Wonder Woman is a really cool character, but is there a built-in audience for Wonder Woman? You know what I mean? We'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see. And kind of the last thing is Disney is now hired John Turteltaub, who did National Treasure, to make It's a Small World movie, which I don't know what the premise could be, but maybe it's some guy trying to rescue children around the world or something. Or
yeah, that's an interesting choice. Like, there's so many other more adventurous rides at Disney World to make a thing out of, but since it's a ride based on music, I am terrified that we're going to get a "It's a Small World" remix by, say, Taylor Swift or
Pharrell Williams, who's doing the Spider-Man soundtrack.
Oh,
I know. We'll see. I mean, they surprised everybody
really
with
scoring it, or
he's
making
a collaborator. He's with who's doing it? I think it's James Howard actually is doing it.
He's back. Yeah.
But they had a success with Pirates of the Caribbean, so you never know. They can figure out. I don't know what it could be about though. Like the pirates thing, you can just take pirates and make a movie around it. The Haunted Mansion obviously is ghosts. Small World is a bunch of weird-looking animatronic dolls.
Bunch of Dutch-looking little dolls.
Exactly. So I guess maybe an animated movie might work if it's a. I don't know. It's above my pay grade. I'm sure they'll figure something out.
The most successful studio.
Yeah.
Now. So
what am I going to say to them?
Yeah. Because they know what they're doing.
They'll be like, you know what, dude? Fuck you, man. You can't tell us what to do. That'd be sweet if I got a letter from Disney with like
shut
a
the
Mickey
fuck up.
a Mickey Mouse like card. It's just his ears fold out. It's like, oh, shut the fuck up.
We heard your show.
Yeah, fuck you. Hey, do you have $200 million to sink into a movie that no one cares about? Lone Ranger and John Carter? Yeah, didn't think so.
Can you take a loss on a movie like we did and still
Back-to-back years?
Yeah.
Not care? Because we still made the Avengers. It made $1.8 billion. I didn't think so, buddy.
And
So-
Frozen.
Frozen that just crossed $1 billion.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I actually wrote that down too. $400 million at the domestic. Highest grossing, almost the highest grossing animated film ever. Toy Story 3 is at 413 and
I
Shrek
thought
2
it passed that.
is 408. No, it's only at 400.
I know it passed The Lion King.
Yeah. Well, worldwide it's the highest grossing animated movie.
Yeah.
Which matters now. Because, something like Amazing Spider-Man 2, which we're seeing next week, has already been open for 2 weeks around the world. It's already made like $190 million in like 2 weeks. Already its production budget back before it's even opened here. Yep.
Go Spidey.
Yep. Go Spidey. This week, the Real Nerds went and saw Draft Day. Brad, should people invest a first-round pick on Draft Day?
I don't know about first round pick. I guess it's a rental. I was more interested. I really enjoyed the end of the movie. Everything leading up to it, I was like, meh. So I'll tell you more in a minute.
Yeah, I've gone the same way. I did enjoy it, though. I mean, I like seeing Kevin Costner in starring roles because I really like him as an actor. But yeah, this is probably a rental, but I still had fun with it. Here's a trailer for Draft Day.
This is the Draft Day Browns fans were waiting for.
Sonny, I hope you're listening. You run this team. You're the general manager. You can fix it.
Hey, Tom.
Hey, Sonny.
Sonny. Every year, someone comes out of this looking like a donkey. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Good, because tomorrow I got a feeling it could be you if you don't make this deal.
Let's talk about the draft. I need you to make a splash, Sonny. If you can't do it, then I have to do it.
Just to be clear here, you're threatening to fire me, right? Your job is to coach a team I give you. They do it different in Dallas?
Yeah, they do. They win. A lot.
How is it that the ultimate prize in the most macho sport ever invented is a piece of jewelry?
We talk football?
We can always talk football.
I just want the team that I want, one time.
You see things other people don't see.
Rewind that back to the start of the play.
That's one of the things I love about you. All that matters is what you think. Write your own story, Sonny.
I want this team's future back. Let's get busy.
Draft Day, history in the making. 224 young men are about to become players in the National Football League.
Bo Callahan, he's the surefire slam dunk #1 pick.
Trade me. I'm going to do what's best for the team.
This is the draft analysis we've all been working on for the last 2 months.
Just made a trade with the Seahawks.
Sonny, that's our future.
You sold a cow for magic beans.
How does the entire world already know about this, Mom?
Because I just tweeted it.
You're on Twitter?
You're not.
I love having the #1 pick.
I hope that you would.
The Cleveland Browns are now on the clock.
It's go time, boss.
You got row. Who are you going to take?
What's happening?
Who you picking?
You son of a...
I need 5 minutes, and then you can fire me.
I got Tom Michaels on the line.
Sonny, are we trading 6?
I quit, Sonny.
Don't quit. See what I do from here. You're going to like this.
The football world is in shock, wondering what exactly the Cleveland Browns' Sonny Weaver Jr. is cooking up here.
You're not going to believe what's happening.
You make this deal right now. Say it with me.
An absolute stunner.
Okay, screw it. No more offers.
You're out of your mind.
Yeah, I am. Haven't I proved that already?
Which, by the way, is not a good trailer. I mean, the story is Cleveland Browns general manager fired his dad. I mean, there's some interesting B stories here. You know, his dad was a coach. He fired the coach, and his dad died just before the draft. His girlfriend is pregnant. His mom and his ex-wife hang out with each other. And so he has a lot going on top of the fact that he has to do this draft.
Is the team owners pressuring him to... He wants him to not do like the smart thing. He wants them to do the like attention grabbing.
Yeah, like the bold move.
Yeah.
I mean, his owner is looking at it in money sense. He says, "I don't care if you mortgage the future. I want to win. I want people to be in the seats now. I want."
It's weird that his goal is, I want you to sell tickets to games throughout the season, I don't really care about the Super Bowl. Like, I don't want you to build a Super Bowl team. I want you to build a ticket.
Which is fascinating. There's a lot of sports teams like that. The Rockies are like that, where it's they'll build enough, they'll win enough, and the games are exciting enough where people will go, but they never do quite enough for them to win it all.
Yeah.
And the Cleveland Browns are the same way. I mean, they got in a lot of trouble this last year. Remember, they traded their all-star running back to the Colts.
Nope.
Well, they traded Trent Richardson to the Colts.
I don't really pay attention to the offseason, so.
No, this is during the middle of the season.
Oh.
They traded Trent Richardson to the Colts, and Cleveland's weird.
Well, did that work out for the Colts?
They won a playoff game, so yeah. I don't think he did very well, though.
Yes.
So it's it's hit or miss, and there's a lot going into it. This was billed as like the football version of Moneyball, which it kind of is.
Yeah.
I don't think where in Moneyball Brad Pitt and Jonah Hill are really great, but all the people around them were great too. Where I don't get that same in the draft day, where I think Kevin Costner's great, Dennis Leary's good, Jennifer Garner is fine. But like his cronies aren't as cool as the guys in Moneyball.
Yeah.
Where you have like a Philip Seymour Hoffman and things like that.
And also, like, there's two things going on for me where, so in Moneyball, it doesn't really, I don't get the sense that it's like, oh, here's a commercial for baseball.
Mm-hmm.
It's more like, oh, here's a story about this guy. In Draft Day, I really feel
it's
like
an
I'm
NFL
being bombarded
commercial.
with like a commercial for the NFL draft, which I already hate because it's the most. The one thing I did appreciate about this movie is it does echo my sentiment of like how inconsequential the draft really is.
Yeah.
Like in the long run, like nothing's a sure thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they spend all this time trying to get like these number one picks and stuff, but at the end of the day, you're left with performance, and injuries can screw that up too, and
exactly
it doesn't really matter.
Speaking of performances, here's a scene of Kevin Costner wheeling and dealing in Draft Day.
Did you just trash my office?
Yeah, I'm upset.
Well, I don't care if you're upset. If you're upset, call your agent. All right, let him have this conversation. That's what he's there for.
No, Sonny, you're going to talk to me man to man. You owe me that.
I owe you? I drafted you.
Your dad drafted me.
No, Drew, I drafted you because I believed in you.
Then why pick Callahan?
You know why.
Then trade me.
I'm going to do what's best for the team.
The best thing for this team this season is me.
He's really good in it. I mean, he's one of those actors I always have really enjoyed. Even people who don't like Waterworld or The Postman, I still think they're cool movies. I mean, they're not great, but they're not unbearable. I think sometimes people get a bum rap for things that are.
They're no Fateful Findings.
Yeah, I mean, there's the opposite. I mean, and he's always really cool, and I love his westerns, and they don't make westerns anymore.
Yeah, they do. They're just
not really.
Not as spectacular as they used to be, I suppose.
I think the only western this year, isn't it? 1 Million Ways to Die in the West.
It's a comedy.
And it's a comedy. But and I forgot that Ivan Reitman directed this, and it was he had weird like green screen stuff where people would be talking on the phone and be split screen constantly, and they'd move in and out of the screen. And
yeah, for some inexplicable reason, yeah, they have this, because I guess just this movie would be boring already. Like it's just because the movie's really conversation scenes over and over again. There's no like, oh, we cut away to. Well, I guess there was some.
Well, yeah,
like B-roll of
Elway
footage of Elway and Joe Montana playing like actual games, but no one's really like. There's no, unlike the trailer we saw ahead of the movie for that. What was it called? The voiceover even had to like read the text for us because it was this name for that football movie about.
Oh, it's
the team that
Stand Up Now or something.
Yeah, it's Stand Up Now or something. And the team had 151 This is like the most shallow movie I think I've seen in a while. They won 151 consecutive games, and then they lost one, and it shattered the town.
The fabric of the town.
It broke their spirit, and like one of the players got shot over it, and then they have to rally back together, and the coach has a heart attack.
Yeah, right. You're still 151 and 1.
And you're a high school football.
And at the end of the day, it's still a sport.
Yeah. When you graduate, you either get drafted or you have to get a job. Those are harder.
Yeah. So, yeah. But, there are some funny moments.
I totally derailed.
Yeah.
We're talking about this visual thing.
There's still some funny moments. Like, I loved the intern, Rick, in it. I thought he was really funny when he was talking about the quarterback. That's the quarterback of the Browns, and the Browns are thinking about drafting this Bo Callahan. And he goes, and he told me to go have sexual relations with my mom.
But she's dead.
But she's dead. But he didn't know that. It's just weird beats like that were pretty funny.
I feel like a little forced comic relief.
Well, I think they had to. They had to, like... And just like with the cuts, I think they...
Because the movie's not even that technical. Like,
No.
the only time they started getting like the real technical part is like the last 10 minutes.
Yeah.
When they actually do the draft. The rest of the movie is the relationships with like the people who want to get drafted, and they're contacting Kevin Costner. And there's an issue with his girlfriend and her being pregnant. Like, they're trying to deal with that. And then his dead father.
It almost seems like there's a missing scene with the Kevin Costner, Jennifer Garner thing, because, you know, it says, "Are you mad at me?" And you never got that sense with him that he did something so horrible, or, you know what I mean? Like, there was no weight to it. You don't want to have a baby at 60. That's like what I got out of it.
He was 60.
I don't know how old Kevin Costner is in real life. I'm just,
Or even his character.
yeah.
He could have been. Like, he had a dad who was just. I guess his dad could have been super old.
Yeah.
Like 80-year-old coach.
Well, I mean, I guess, yeah,
Well, the
a
Buffalo Bills
70,
coach was
yeah.
coaching into his 80s.
It's interesting. I mean, the movie's cool. Again, yeah, it feels like a commercial for the NFL.
All the draft stuff with like all the ESPN people commentating.
And I know they try to do that to make it authentic because that's what we recognize.
Yeah.
But the whole time all I see is logos and things like that. There was a movie I just watched recently where they made it Final Destination. They made it blatantly obvious that everybody was drinking Pepsi, and that's really obnoxious to me. Like, I don't care if I see it, in Times Square or something. I understand that part, but when they're holding cups a certain way, so you see the logo and the name, it drives me crazy.
Yeah. But yeah, the ending was like when you finally got together and you saw that Kevin Costner maybe actually did have a plan the whole time. Like, that was like it got me on board. Like, wow, look at him go.
Mm-hmm.
Like, look at him make this deal. That's genius. I'm not even sure it worked out anyway. Like, it's a lot of stuff has to fall into place, and a lot of people have to like arbitrarily agree.
Yeah, and it's and the ending didn't surprise me. I knew he was going to draft that kid first, that linebacker, just because of how they set it up. And but if some people in the audience, they gasped, they were shocked. So just like the Winter Soldier thing, sometimes it works. But again, it's not a bad movie.
I think they were effective on showing how each component of the levels of operations have to deal with each other.
Yeah,
and what they like. And what everyone's motivation has to be. I think there's effective, like showing like, okay, there's this coach. Obviously, his success is sort of manufactured, and they're trying to. But you can see him generally wanting to put a good team together.
It's almost like he wants to prove himself, even though he feels like he's already proven himself. Because it's that you inherited that team, and then he keeps on showing his ring, but then he has this really huge desire to win his way, and
and getting the right players and. Understanding like, okay, I understand. Like, in the movie, I'm understanding like, okay, I understand why they need a new quarterback, or why they might need a new quarterback, or why they need a running back. Like, all those things. Like, I understand Kevin Costner's needs to fulfill for everybody. Yeah.
So yeah,
he's effective that way.
It's all right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I might watch it again. I just like the performances in it. Kevin Costner, really. Cool. So next week we're seeing The Amazing Spider-Man 2. The Return of the Green Goblin.
Do we have to?
Yeah, I don't give a shit what you do. I'm seeing it Thursday in IMAX 3D, and then I'll see it again at the Alamo with you, unless you want to see it back-to-back days.
If I was a younger man, probably.
I'm seeing it at 7 at night. I'm not seeing it at midnight.
Maybe.
Well, let me know.
IMAX 3D? 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 I might have to. I was on board, and I was kind of on board until you said 3D. I don't think I love it that much. It's gonna be what, $20 ticket?
16.
Yep.
Yeah,
We'll
whatever.
see.
I'll see it by myself.
I
don't give a shit because I'm going to see it back-to-back days anyways. So
James isn't going?
No, he's seeing it at the Alamo on Friday.
Well, either way, you'll be listening to a Spider-Man review.
You will be.
Our next episode.
It'll be great. Maybe.
Yep.
Fingers crossed. It's I'm sure you feel the same way about the Turtles. You have hope that's going to be so great, and then you just hope that they deliver. And luckily with Spider-Man, I've been pretty lucky. His movies have been pretty good, but there's always a chance.
Yeah, I don't know. With the Ninja Turtles coming out, like, part of me, like, I want a good Ninja Turtles movie, but at the same time, like, I don't know if I want that one to be good.
Yeah, but it's
but
hard.
If it's not, I probably won't get another one.
Then it ruins the Ninja Turtles. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's tough.
Like if that one's not successful, they're not going to take a chance on another one.
Yeah.
That would be in line with what I want. So
I think that one will be successful though.
Will be successful, but it won't be the way I want it to. Like you'd be like, oh,
well, how do
everyone likes this odd, incorrect version of it.
Maybe they'll really enjoy. You'll really enjoy it. You never know.
We'll see.
We'll see. Going with
pins
good,
and needles from here on out.
Going with good thoughts.
Yep.
That's all I can do too. Until next week, we'll see ya, and everyone will be here. I think Zach Eastman might even be on the show next week because I think he wants to be on it. So we might even have a guest.
And he's seen.
He has seen it, fucker.
Seen already. Yeah, somehow.
But he does want to see it with me at IMAX. He wants to get my immediate reaction. Maybe I'll be a dick and say, "Oh, I'll talk about it tomorrow."
I think he knows something controversial.
I already know how. I'm pretty sure I know how it's going to go. But anyways, bye. Suck my balls. Visit our website, realnerdspodcast.com. You can tweet us at real_nerds. You can email us even, realnerds@gmail.com. Like us on Facebook. Hey, stream us on Stitcher. You want to call us? 720-6nerds5. And download us on iTunes. Just search Real Nerds. Thank you, Joe Kempter, for the wonderful voiceover. And also Spark Mandrill for the wonderful late-night jazz smooth sounds of movies. You can find them on SoundCloud. This has been a Nebulous Visions production.